What's up, guys, and welcome back for another solo mining episode. In this one, we're going to be doing some high-sec mining, and we're just going to kind of see if we can fill up this Mackinaw and see how long it takes for us to get exploited, or to extorted, rather. It's I chose the Mackinaw for this because just it has a bigger ore hold. It can use the strip miners, and we're looking at about 62, or actually 69.6 seconds. So with that being said, it's about 70 seconds, and we can hold essentially 44 units of ice. So we're looking at about 20 minutes or so of ice mining here. But I know we haven't done a lot of ice related things, so this character I actually ended up kind of buying a skill injector just to get the ice harvesting done. But the value in ISK is not really great for ice, but in terms of just like stockpiling and stockpiling stuff, you know, we've done like the rare ores, we've done some low sec stuff and all that. I'm at this point, I'm just trying to I'm just collecting compressed variants of stuff. So hopefully with this episode, we'll be able to fill up this Mackinaw and give you guys a good idea of kind of the process here. Let's go ahead and go over the fit. Nothing too crazy going on here. Pretty basic. We've got Hornet because we're still in Greece, this space, so there's that. We've got Ice Harvester 2 upgrades in the lows just to bring our cycle time down. And then we got a Shield Tech 2 EM Shield Amp to fill that EM hole. 2 compact multispectrums because regular multispec 2s will not fit. I might need to look at some missing skills on this character. And then we got a survey scanner. Survey scanner is nice just to make sure that the rock we're on is good to go. As you can see, this rock has like 200 or something units of ice in it, so that'll be perfectly fine for what we're doing in this episode. And then using Ice Harvester 2s in the highs. We could do a little bit better by going faction, but going faction would just save us like CPU. We could probably fit a little more tank there. And then I'm using the Ice Harvester Accelerator 1 to help with cycle time as well. And then a medium core defense extender 2, which gets us to around 46,000 EHP. But we're just going to go ahead and kind of work it. We've got an Orca, some Hulks. Yeah, Orca and 4 Hulks. Yeah. Speaking my language. And then a couple of retrievers with some ice drones. So pretty cool. And this is one of those things too. It's like ice is so big that in a situation where we are running like a let's say you're running an Orca and like 4 Hulks like we did a few episodes ago with ore, you would really benefit you running that kind of setup on ice, because you could put all the Hulks on one rock and just take it all. You probably you might notice a difference in episodes now moving forward. I upgraded yesterday to a 4K panel, so we are now playing Eve in glorious 4K. I will be rendering and uploading these videos at the highest quality possible, so that if you're out there with a 4K TV or if you're out there with a 4K monitor, it will look pretty decent and everything. I'm actually really kind of enjoying the look, and this panel is also HDR, so I don't think that really comes across as on the recording, but it's a lot easier on the eyes for me. So, and you can really kind of see the detail going into everything. Pretty nice. So I feel we'll hang out zoomed in for this episode for good old Mackinaw ice mining eye candy for the most part. All right, we are at 8 units right now. That is roughly 1 million. So let's go and talk about ice a little bit. The nitrogen isotopes, that's really kind of why you go after this faction ice. You get a little bit of liquid O, heavy water. Here is the other cool thing too. Having an alt or having someone, even in a Mackinaw, who can go out and do ice mining like this, you don't have to go for a lot. You want to make sure you have your ice processing skill maxed out, which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we need to buy that skill. Even though I probably won't process it on her, but it's just kind of good to have. So, we need a bunch of stuff. So we need science. I'm going to put all this stuff down at the bottom because it's not really a big priority right now. But we do a lot of sieging. We do a lot of industrial core things with our setup and with our assets that we've got right now. How do we actually make our margins better? Well, if we can produce our own heavy water along with isotopes and stuff to sell on market or use for other manufacturing, we can essentially use the heavy water we get from ice mining to fuel our other mining ventures. And obviously white glaze, the faction ice, is not the best one for heavy water, but that's all that's on this belt right now. If you wanted to get actual specialized ice that has the most yield for heavy water, you'd have to go into like null and things like that. But null ice mining is, been well documented, not just by me, but by the community as a whole. I've got a lot. I think I got a good number of videos and fits going over ice mining because it is one of the activities that I've done a lot of because of fuel block manufacturing and stuff in the past. But for whatever reason, there's a lot of and actually I know why. The reason a lot of people kind of don't like doing high sec ice mining is because they're in the past. I'm not sure now since this is the first time I've really done it in a while, but I think the last time I did high sec ice mining was when I did the Orca ice mining solo video a year ago. But extortion is like a big thing in high sec. So if I'm able to come out here and grab 44 units of white glaze without being, extorted for any mining license or that's happened to me in the past, it's happened to a lot of people in the past, then I'm fine, right? And coming out here and we'll see, we'll be able to even if I'm probably going to actually plan on coming out here probably like 2 or 3 times a week just to fill up the Mackinaw with white glaze. And we'll, after like a few trips, after about a week or so, what I'll do is we'll process that ice and we'll see how much heavy water we get out of it. And then we'll actually do the calculation of is it actually giving us enough heavy water to complement the volume of mining we're doing on the ore side. And who knows, if I have a good experience today with this, I might break out the Orca and the Hulks to come out here and grab some ice as well. But I'm gonna have to skill up those alts. I think some of them might actually have ice mining from back in the day. They should. Actually, I'm almost positive they do. I've been working on this character and kind of fleshing her out. She essentially is the original solo, not solo, but the Alpha Project series I did a year ago. This is her. She's also the one. She's like my free agent for the most part. She isn't associated with my corporation. She hasn't been associated with any known alliances. She's just kind of a free agent, so to speak. So the goal for her was just be as independent as possible. She is a max miner. Now she can do ice as of today. She's a max Tengu pilot. She can max scanning alt as well. And I think I'm going to try to finish fleshing her out in some other areas. So let's go. I'm just going to kind of, while we're waiting, I don't even really remember what all she can do. I think that, okay, she needs PI skills. And she needs to finish her covert op training and her expeditionary frigate training. But other than that, she's got a lot of gunnery skills. I did a lot of mission running with her when she was an alpha and stuff, and also she's working on scrap metal stuff because as being a max Tengu pilot, that gives her the ability to run quite a bit of Caldari ships for ratting. So having scrap metal processing to melt loot is really, really nice. I'm just amazed. It's like I was very hesitant on actually uh, upgrading to a 4K panel, mainly because I didn't. I'm really pushing this 3060 Ti that I've got to the max. And the 3060 Ti, for when I did my when I did my PC build a few months ago, I essentially bought the 3060 Ti as a placeholder because I didn't like the prices of the 4090s at the time, and also with all the 12-volt power connector melting things that have been going on, I'm kind of just waiting. I knew that if to effectively move into 4K content, I would need a panel, obviously, and then like a 4090 or something like that. At this point, really, I ended up buying the 4K panel because I needed to get dual screens back up to kind of help with streaming and just kind of quality of life. But I kind of got dialed in. I had to go back through all my alts and kind of mess with their UIs, which is always tedious. But as you can tell, everything's pretty much in the same place that it was, but not. But also, you can start to see like the other areas that you couldn't see, like all this, the warp, the sight, the all that overview, the directional scanner, and all the probe launcher, and then all the nanocom and local and stuff is hidden behind my camera. But all that stuff was essentially cut off before because I was running on an ultra wide. But I kind of wanted to get to the point where we have everything on screen because of the type of content that I've been doing lately. And so far, it's very actually, the only limitation I have with the 4K right now with the 3060 Ti is running all 5 accounts at the same time. And keep in mind, we have high settings for everything for all my accounts because I just like having the highest detail. But I think I'm okay with that. Like, I think we did the Orca and the 4 Hulk video, and if I ever had to do a video like that in the future, then I will probably just come back down to like 1440p or 1080p again to do those videos until I upgrade that graphics card. That's really kind of the thought train behind that. But I've been wanting to actually move into 4K for a while. I think Eve looks really, really good at 4K. And also, I was also worried too because I've been playing Eve for years and years on ultra wide, so I've gotten really used to that real estate. But I like the fact that this panel is decent enough that I can run at kind of a non ultra wide configuration, but still have the real estate that I'm used to because I just have more room to put kind of things where I want. So yeah, enough about that. I digress. We're at 22 white glaze units. We are effectively halfway at this point, and so far we have not been accosted in any way. No one is on this rock with me. Let's do a little scanny poo here. It was 236 units when we started, 205, which tracks. So as you can see, very chill. We can literally just kind of stay on one rock and hang out. About 3 million in value right now, so we're going to be looking at bringing roughly 6 million back. And we'll go ahead and do what I normally do. We're going to go to structure browser here. We're going to hang out and we're going to go solar system. Let's see what we got here. We have some reprocessing over here. Do I have docking access? I do. So we're going to save this location as COM. So we do have compression in this system. We could technically fill up this Mackinaw, go to this Ostra house, and compress it, and then come right back out, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. But I think that 44 units is going to be pretty decent. Roughly 69 units of heavy water, which with the Orca a little bit higher. That's not even like, it's about 10. You got to do the math. I think it's like I think you'd have to do for one full load 44 units of ice. That would probably give you 10 cycles on the Orca, maybe. I don't know. We'll know better because what I'm going to do is my other alt that I set up as a command alt that you've seen in other videos, she's also working on just repros skills. So she's going to have the bean counter implant. She's going to have all of the max reprocessing for ice and all the ore types. So everything is just going to kind of get funneled in through her. So really the goal here is just to start the process of actually mining our own ice for our own heavy water. That way we don't have to actually worry about buying it off market. We can be essentially completely self-sustainable. Now, I would probably say that, like, if you are only ever getting heavy water out of this ice, it probably wouldn't be worth the investment or the time. But the isotopes and the liquid O and the straunt, not going to get a lot of straunt from faction ice anyway, but I would say more or less the isotopes and the liquid O, getting that stuff as well is really, really nice. And also it's very useful too if you're in nullsec and you're running an industrial core and you're using heavy water for that, or you're doing any sort of sinoing. I used to use the heavy water to fuel jump bridges and to fuel my Falcon and all my sino ships, and then the isotopes went into the fuel for my jump freighter and the blocks that I'd make, the fuel blocks. It's strange actually, because I really enjoy ice mining in the fact that, like, I kind of enjoy what I can do with the end product. Obviously, you can do a lot of end product with, like, ore and things like that, but also these are just these are just big rocks. I mean, this is like really chill. I mean, if you're doing moon mining, which I do, I know a lot of people have been talking about moon mining, the fact that I haven't covered it. I could drop a refinery here in high sec and start a moon extraction, but it's generally not a good idea for the most part. Being a solo corp, there are corporations out there that specifically look for structures owned by single heartbeat corporations, and that's all they war deck for. They war deck just to get those structures down, and it's just not worth it. Because if it was a situation where I had a bunch of people that were going to actively come out and mine the moon and, like, defend the structure if needed, I wouldn't. I mean, it's not about the cost. The Ultra House and the core and all that, the cost is negligible. It doesn't matter to me a whole lot. It's just kind of like not wasting my own time with worrying about anchoring that and fueling it, and just for it to get targeted by groups that specifically go after smaller corporations. So that's one reason I haven't actually done a whole lot of moon mining. I have access based, because I have, that's a big thing that I see a lot of people asking, like, how do you get into null? How do you get into doing all these different things? Networking is so important in EVE. Like, you can be a solo player, but you can still, like, have a community and talk and make friends. And a lot of, like, the things that, like, if I want to go do moon mining, I have to just reach out to people that I know in null and be like, hey, can I come out and do, some moon mining just to make some content, or, whatever the case may be, to get some stuff for invention or manufacturing. And they'd be like, hell yeah, come on. That's the, that ability to do that is just based on, just networking. And I had to go through a lot of corporations and alliances in the past to kind of get to that point. But even if you want to play EVE as a solo player, I still think that it's highly recommended that you get into a corporation or have an alt in a corporation and socialize and kind of, get to know people. That it just opens up your options for the most part. 32, almost there. That's a good way to find, like, places to go in null as well. A lot of corporations that operate in null have a high sec version of their corporation for kind of onboarding and vetting, and they'll usually post that in their recruitment post and everything like that. They'll talk about, like, how they have a high sec and a null sec side of the corporation, and after you reach whatever the requirements are, they usually have, like, SP requirements or something. And that's how it was for me. It's like I went into a high sec corporation. I kind of cut my teeth on a lot of different high sec and different kind of stuff. And then when I was able to do, like, doctrine, defense fleet fits, when I had enough SP that they wanted, I was able to move out to null, and then kind of just didn't look back from there. So it is possible to just, like, kind of find a null sec corporation and just get recruited and go straight into it. If you never lived in null, it's going to be a big learning curve, which shouldn't scare you. I mean, once you figure out how to actually operate in nullsec, it's the safest place in the game you could be, which I know sounds crazy, but it really is. But I think like the moral of the story really with Eve is like take your time, right? It's a marathon, not a race. Because SP and your enjoyment and the ships that you fly and the experiences you have, you try to rush anything, you're going to end up either getting turned off by a certain, like if you want to get into like Mercoxis mining and you skilled into all those and you got out there and you started doing it, and were out there and you had to like, oh well, now I have to worry about rat titans and rat dreads. What happens if they drop on grid, or these battleship rats that my drones skills are not great for? Like, you really just have to take your time and get used to any sort of gameplay loop in order to get the enjoyment out of it. I would say rushing is probably the biggest downfall for new players in Eve. All right, 36. We're getting close. Nothing's changed. I haven't even run D-scan. There's a Miasmos and a Venture. Yeah, pretty chill in this system. We've got 9 in local, not counting me, so 8 other people. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 of them are in this ice belt. That's including me. So there's one other dude out there somewhere, which is probably that Miasmos. So everybody's accounted for. Sweet. There's the Miasmos. On grid. He's emptying out the Orca. I don't think I've ever talked about the Miasmos. It's a pretty neat little ship. It's this guy is essentially using it to empty out probably the compressed ice. But yeah, the Miasmos is a Galante ship that essentially has a dedicated ore hold. I'm pretty sure they've actually updated it since I've used it. Let's go Galante. Where's my Miasmos at? Let's go look at this. See how they changed it. Mining hold 42,000. Yeah, that's a lot of compressed ore you can hold. So and it's really easy to train into. The requirements for this is literally Galante Hauler 1. It scales that, or I think the mining hold scales with your Galante Hauler skill. So it's really, really easy to get a alt in the Miasmos and act as a hauling alt. All right, let's see if this rat is going to go directly for me. Can I target the bro? I don't even know if my control... Actually, I think my controller range is good enough. The Miasmos, or not the Miasmos, the Mackinaw will help you. I know how this guy is probably like monitoring all these different alts, so I'm going to do him favors. Help him out. Doing my part. Get those guys back in. Oh, sweet. I got my skill points for the day. I can log off. My 2,500. It barely moved. 2,500 skill points goes a long way, I tell you. All right, we got about 4 units left to go. So 2 cycles, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So there you go, unaccosted, pretty much. So if you had any doubts about high-sec ice mining, there you go, there you have it. We did a good run, and obviously this was a good scouting thing too, because now we have, a compression station saved, and we'll be able to go in here and compress and whenever this ice belt. And that's the thing too, is I'm just using every day when I'm logging in with this tune, I'm looking at, high-sec ice belts, and then I'll go to these systems and go to, on map, and I have essentially the average pilots in space every 30 minutes. So I can see how many pilots are in system. It gives me an idea of like how much competition's on grid. But I'm also just looking at, that's how I find rare ore. That's how I find ice belts, and just kind of do a lot of scouting then and everything. And that's just that's the kind of the daily activity. We'll probably take the Orca and the 2 Hulks out at some point today. It's been a couple days since we've done actual ore mining. We spent yesterday doing a lot of the rare ore stuff. So that last episode, all that stuff was really fun. I really wanted to just kind of cover high-sec ice mining and show you how chill it can be, and also just kind of show off the 4K-ness that we're playing with now. Next step, 8K. No big deal, right? No big deal. got a few more seconds on this and we'll be full up. And that'll be the pretty short episode considering we did like a 2-hour episode, you know. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to ice. It's just, you know, very simple. I'll put this fit in the description and all that good stuff, so that, you know, if you want to come out here and do exactly what I'm doing here, you'll be set up. Let's go ahead and, you know, watch the glorious warp in 4K. I think we're doing pretty well as far as the stockpiling goes. We've got quite a bit of we're doing actually really well, I think, considering I haven't really been pushing it too hard. The longest play sessions that I do are literally when we're recording, for the most part, because I've got a lot of stuff other going on and everything. But I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you guys enjoy this kind of content, and there's more to come and all of that. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. If you want to support the channel, consider becoming a channel member, where you get access to emojis and a member badge and channel-wide recognition and all that good stuff. That goes a long way for future content and everything like that. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.